to me. My name is Bill Jones. I'm from Extinction Rebellion. Look, you've heard from the children. They're very polite. You guys are an authority. You're a local authority. You are responsible. And we think the Sheffield City Council has failed. We think you've failed the people of Sheffield. You failed to tell the truth about the climate and ecological emergency. So we are demanding that Sheffield City Council starts to tell the truth. We think you should start imaginative campaigns, and you should start this by using the 2020 Council Tax Letter. You've got a duty to address the biggest issue of our time. You need communication campaigns to explain clearly how urgent these emergencies are for the people of Sheffield. You need to explain what the council and citizens need to do. You've got to start being honest. You've got to explain the risks and the costs of further delay. It's expensive to deal with it now, but leave it for a month, a year, it gets more expensive. And on top of that, you need to explain a vision of how we can change to a better, unpolluted, sustainable city. You, the council, declared a climate emergency a whole year ago. You committed to carbon zero by 2030, and you commissioned the Timble report. You commissioned the Timble report, and the Timble requires 14% year-on-year emissions reductions to 2038. But Sheffield City Council has failed to tell the people of Sheffield what's needed. It's failed to act. And if you do the sums, we probably need a 25% year-on-year emissions reduction now to reach your own target of carbon zero by 2030. This was your pledge. You've got to start telling people the truth. So this massive task requires popular support. It'll only start when people begin to realise what's needed. People need to be informed by their council. Firstly, the costs and consequences of delay, which are worsening pollution, extreme weather, floods, and we've got to start talking about this. Even mass migration after societal collapse abroad. And secondly, you've got to start talking about how much better the place would be, our own city would be, if we had radical action now. If we really made a difference, we could have fantastic public transport, children playing in the streets, warm houses, and sustainable jobs in the forefront of a growing economy. So look, I would like to make a request, but I'm fed up. I've been with people 40 years making requests like this. So I'm demanding, and we are rebelling, and we're demanding that you make the right choice. Stop delaying. Use the 2020 Council Tax Centre to start to tell Sheffield the climate truth and turn us towards a better city. Thank you.
Cabinet Member for Environment, Street Scene and Climate Change.
Thank you, Dr. Jones, for your very impassioned presentation here today. It's good to see you, and I hope you do well. We rightly cite the presentation from our children, and it is only right that we make sure that we take the actions needed to ensure that our children inherit a world that is worth having, because currently it isn't. It is true that we have had the Tyndall report, and it's true that we are committing to becoming carbon zero by 2030. That is a truth, we have said it repeatedly, and we will continue to say that. We understand the enormity of the challenge ahead of us, and in that, we must understand what that enormity is. It is not a trivial thing to wind back over centuries worth of carbonisation. We all here today have benefited from the exploitation and of our resources of our planet. You and I, we have all benefited from that. We have all added to the global pollution and the crisis that faces us, and the crisis that our children will have to deal with and reconcile. We all have a blood of petroleum on our hands. Let's not look to others and assume that it's just them. We all have that. Yes, this council, but yes, every member of this council, everybody, nobody can sit in this place and say that we are not responsible for the planet we have today. This is part of speaking the truth. This is what Extinction Rebellion demand of us. I know that your rhetoric and your tactics are not university lights. We've spoken about this in the past when cyclists tried to ride aggressively into a protest earlier this year on the road. It did not strike me. The irony of that did not fail to strike me. The cyclists that were making the difference, that we asked our citizens to do, were objecting to the way we were protesting. Would I say that you shouldn't protest? No, never. I think that the voice that you bring to this debate, though not universally appreciated, though not universally recognised, is a voice that we still need. You are right to say that we must do more, and we are doing more. You say we're not doing anything. That is not wholly appropriate, or whether that's because we failed to communicate the extent to where we are going, we are travelling on. That may be our fault, yes. Maybe we need to communicate more, and through you and others, then maybe we can achieve that. There's a video of Councillor Johnson and myself effectively joyriding in one of our new electric vehicles that the council has committed and is procuring. So that transition from dirty fuel to potentially clean fuel is ongoing. We need to do more to communicate that. The council tax letter, there was a request brought from Sheffield Climate Alliance to the council for communication to go out on that. We have that in hand. We are still working on that. I want that to petitions at this moment in time, and there are other things I would like to do and continue meeting with you to discuss where we can go on that. But you have my solemn vow that we are doing everything we can, and you will notice within our council papers today, as previously discussed with yourselves and others, we are committed to having a citizens' assembly in 2030. Now, I struggle to some element of this to say what that assembly will come out with. When we go to the citizens' assembly, as you asked us to do, and rightly so, we will go to the citizens' assembly with as much information as we can. We have gone out to market to bring in an independent analysis of the carbon impacts, sources, and what mitigations could mean to the city, as other cities have done in Bristol and others. So that process was done, the papers were published earlier this week. We are seeking that evidence base to take to the Assembly. We will be seeking to recruit citizens from across our city to that Assembly. Through that, we will be putting to that Citizens' Assembly the measures that we feel that we need to achieve the goals that we need. And one of the things that I need to speak the truth to in terms of the Timber report, as the data was presented, it said that the amount of carbon we had, as used up at the expectation levels that we would have, would bear the period of 2020 to 2026 only. So we don't necessarily even have, if we continued as we are today without reducing carbon, we would not be looking at running out of carbon budget by 2030. We would have spent that by 2026. We know that. It is in the report. We continue to say that. We do not refute that. The way in which we can ask our citizens, the questions we put to our citizens, and the answers they give back to us as to what they are palatable to them, will come out to the Citizens' Assembly. We will deliver that. I do not want to tell the Citizens' Assembly this is what I'm going to do now, rubber stamp it, to give me legitimacy to deliver what I think we need. We need to do this together. We all need to reconcile ourselves to the impact we've had on our planet, the impact we continue to have on our planet, and what the impact we want to give to our planet going forward, and what that will leave our planet looking like for our children. I'm not sure how more candid I can be in that answer to you at this stage, but I hope you can understand the sincerity of this council, of this administration, and every member in this place, to make a difference and make the world the future world we want it to be and ensure that the future world is one that is able to sustain and support all us people in it now. Because currently, that is not the world we have. I hope that goes some way to address some of your concerns. I'm sure there will be other concerns, and I'm happy to pick them up with you at a later date. Thank you.
Lord Mayor, I proceed an electronic petition containing 204 signatures demanding the Citizens' Assembly on the climate change emergency. David Bailey wishes to address the Council.
Hello. My name is David Bailey. I'm also representing Extinction Rebellion. We talked a little bit about climate emergency and about Citizens' Assembly in the previous answer. Sheffield Council, or you, declared the climate emergency almost exactly 12 months ago. In July last year, you committed to publishing plans for a Citizens' Assembly by December the 31st last year. Can you explain the delay in forming a Citizens' Assembly, given that that's not happened yet? As far as we can tell, no plans have been published, and there's been almost no information or publicity regarding the Citizens' Assembly for Sheffield. The use of the word emergency implies that urgent action is required, taking precedence over everything else. If we came home one evening to find our house on fire, we would see it as an emergency, and we would act to put fire out as a priority over everything else. In May last year, the UK Parliament also declared a national climate emergency. Since then, Oxford Council has held the Citizens' Assembly on climate change, Leeds Council has held the Citizens' Jury, and the National Citizens' Assembly on climate change began last week. As councillors, you have a duty of care to the people of Sheffield and the people of the world to urgently address the climate crisis. Will you agree to the following two measures? Firstly, to make an operational plan for the Citizens' Assembly public by the end of April this year. Secondly, that Citizens' Assembly will meet before the end of June this year. Thank you.
Lord Mayor, it's recommended that the petition is referred to Councillor Noel Jones.
Thank you. The simple answer is yes. I'm fully prepared to meet all of those requests that you put forward to us. With regards to the difficulty we have faced within the council to actually put in place the measures that we need to deliver that assembly, in terms of speaking the truth, I can honestly say that due to the austerity this council has made, I have not got the officer call that I would have liked to have had to deliver the work I would like to have seen done. This is something we are rectifying currently. This is something we are addressing. We have a process ongoing to try and make sure that we are better suited for the future, to ensure that we can monitor our progress as an authority, monitor our progress as a city, ensure that we hold a light to everything that all our partners within the city, be it the hospitals, the universities, and each individual household can do to help us achieve the goals and the aims of the totality of what we need to address here. The Citizens' Assembly, it is my contention that will be done before the end of June. If it is not, it will not be done that of trying. We are looking to see what we can do to deliver this as quickly and as successfully as we can. A plan by April, that will be a little late in my time frame. I would like to have a roadmap established very much earlier than that, so that everyone can understand that. The council tax letter, what we can commit to in that, I'm not going to put a hostage to fortune over too much here, but any letter that goes out there, I would hope would address and highlight that we are going to be having that assembly, and I would hope that we would be writing to our citizens to recruit that panel. One of the things I will say here, in terms of speaking the truth, and it's not specifically mentioned within within your question is participation within that citizens' assembly. It is my assertion that, as like others in Leeds and York, it will be on a lottery-based system. So our citizens of our city will be present on that, not vested groups, and no Extinction Rebellion and others may be invited to give evidence to that panel. There will be no free seats, unless, of course, as a member of this city, you receive an invite to sit on that panel. You see, that I think is fair, because we will all have a voice and we will all have an input to that assembly, but that assembly must be made up of our citizens, and I'm minded to do that. That's what Oxford did, that's what Leeds did. I'm looking to the example of those other cities as you rightly cite, and I'm minded to think that what they've done is appropriate and accurate. So I feel that is a model we should follow. Only a week and a half ago, I was in London speaking to my counterpart from Oxford Council to understand what measures they had done and what steps they had taken to ensure that the climate emergency and its understanding and its communication undertakes within every part of Oxford Council. And I am assured from that conversation with my counterpart in the Labour Council there that the measures we are taking here in this council will achieve that. The measures we have already undertaken to spread awareness and carbon literacy within our council is already achieving that. I am confident that we will be in a place to look you squarely in the eyes and say, we have done our bit, you have done your bit, and together we have delivered what the city needs to be viable, safe, clean and prosperous for the future. So that come 2030, we will not be responsible for the climate failure. We will do our bit to address that. And to those who say that our nation only contributes 1.1% of the carbon that goes into the atmosphere, I say to them, I don't care. We started this carbonisation of the industrial process. We will lead the way forward in tackling this carbonisation. We will address this climate catastrophe, crisis, whatever adjective you choose to use to describe it. We will rightly deal with it in the way that is best suited. But we will take our citizens with us, and we will not leave anyone behind in that process. Thank you.